Hey guys, welcome back. I'm sorry I didn't post the 7 and 7 readathon conclusion update thing, whatever. These are the books I read right here and I'm ready to talk about them. So yeah, let's get started. So here's the first book, and this is Corey Taylor's 7 Deadly Sins. This is a book that I gave probably a 5 out of 5 stars. It's not... I don't really feel that I could actually give this a star rating. I've had it on my shelf for less than 2 months because I ordered it through Amazon and I couldn't wait to get my hands on it. So yeah, I'll just read you the back. The action begins in West Des Moines, Iowa, where Corey Taylor, frontman of Slipknot and Stone Sour, systematically set about committing each of the 7 deadly sins. He got rich and famous and immersed himself in booze, women, and chaos until one day he realized suddenly that he didn't need any of that at all. Candid, literate, brilliant, 7 Deadly Sins is a brutally honest look at a life that could have gone horribly wrong at any turn and the soul-searching and self-discovery it took to set it right. So I want to show you a picture of Corey Taylor in here, and there is a really good picture of him right there. So yeah, pretty cool. There you go, right there. So this book, I really went into it not knowing what it was about. He kind of talks about how he got into Stone Sour and Slipknot and kind of how all that comes together, and really like what a brilliant human being he is. Not a lot of people know this, but he is really smart. So not a lot of people are into someone else's opinion when it comes to life, when it comes to religion, when it comes to just living your life the way you want to live and just being yourself and not caring what somebody else is gonna think. And just lately I have kind of centered myself around his philosophy of life, and I really enjoy it. Like, I'm gonna be happy no matter what anybody else says, and that's what I've been trying to find for the longest time, and I really have enjoyed it. And this is a great book to kind of find yourself and know that you are worth something, even though somebody is dumbing you down and saying you're not worth anything. But that's not what I'm about. So awesome book. Corey Taylor's 7 Deadly Sins. I highly suggest it. Really great book. The next book I picked up was a book that is Tommyland, and this is one of the members of Motley Crue. If you didn't know, they are on tour right now. Their tour is coming to an end very soon. They will be ending in Los Angeles. They will be having 3 different days in Los Angeles for a spectacular goodbye, I guess. This is Tommyland by Tommy Lee and Anthony Bozza. I have already read This Is Gonna Hurt by Nikki Sixx, which is the other member of Motley Crue, and his Heroin Diaries. I'm not sure if Vince Neil and Mick Mars have a book out, so I'll be watching for that. Vince might have one, so I'm gonna check. I know Tommy has another one, and I want to get my hands on it. So yeah, this was my favorite read of the, not booktube-a-thon, the read-a-thon for 7 and 7. Very great book. I want to talk about it here. So this book was really good, and here is why. The pictures are okay, but it wasn't the pictures that made this book good. It was the story that we wanted to hear. He was brutally honest, and there's a picture of him right there in the shadow. This book really opened my eyes to show he's just a normal person that made it in the world, and again, he was one of those people that just wanted happiness and he found it another way. But his life did turn around, and he is probably one of the greatest musicians in the world. in my opinion. So there was a picture with him and Pamela Lee Anderson, which I want to talk about, and he lets her talk in this book. Here we go. It says her name right there, and she tells her side of the story. You don't realize how much he liked her until you read this book. It is really interesting to see how he actually cared and wanted to find her, and he did. And here are some pictures right here. This is kind of where the good part started. There you go. I'm getting closer here so you can see this. I don't even know if you can see it, but there you go. He talks about how he went through hell trying to find her, and he was gonna stop at nothing just to find her, because that's how much he cared about her. And he did find her. She told him, I was gonna be at this place, and he found her somewhere in some hotel, and she didn't tell him where exactly, but he went through the whole, I guess, phone book to find her, and he went through every hotel asking for this specific person, and I don't know if it was under her name or if it was under somebody else's name, but he gave like aliases and everything. So I could not put this book down. It was a page turner, let me tell you. When I put it down, I didn't want to put it down. I put it down, and a couple of minutes later I picked it back up. That's how good this book is. It's getting mixed reviews because of the content that, like this kind of writing right here. I'm not going to say specifically what it is, but overall the story that he tells is amazing, and the fight that he went through with Pamela, how she threw these huge parties for him for his birthday and surprised him, and he was very grateful for her for doing that for him. And that's how much he knew that he loved her and how much she cared for him, but they would do it in these certain kind of ways, and it made them both happy. And at the end they were kind of happy together. They had kids finally, and they go through all the madness that we now know of Tommy and Pamela in their tape. And it talks about how that got out and how he didn't want it to come out. Somebody had raided their place. They were doing some work in the house, and they found this safe, and in the safe was the tape, and they didn't think that they could ever find what was in there. And they took the safe, and the rest is history. So it was really a page turner, because you're like, what happens next? What happens next? We never heard that story until you read this book. So if you want to know what happens, it doesn't go into like the creepy details and everything, but it does talk about how it all happened, and that is really, really good. So yeah. My favorite book of the whole 7 and 7 read-a-thon. I highly suggest it if you haven't read it. Really great book. I cannot stress how good this book was. He does talk about the book, or the song that he wrote for his son. It is now on YouTube, and you can find it. I don't remember the title, but I think it's the name of his son, and the title of the song is in this book. So when you find it, I highly suggest listening to it so you can see what he's talking about, and then go on from there. He also lets his friends talk, and how, oh, there's a picture here. This is his dad, I think. And he talks about when his dad passed away, and just the good times he had, and he missed him when he died, and he was something special. He said he talks about September 11th, which is coming up, and how perfect right now, right there. So it is tomorrow, September 11th, and this is just a really great book. There's a really cool graphic. He also lets his friends talk in this book. There's a graphic that goes from the beginning of the book to the end of the book almost, or to the middle. It's right at the top. I don't even know if you can see. I'm gonna move it really quick here. It goes, it's this little guy, he moves all the way to the bottom, and yeah, that's just a little special thing for this book. So Tommyland by Tommy Lee and Anthony Boza. Highly suggested. I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. So here's the next book. This one kind of has mixed reviews. This is Where She Went by Gail Foreman. I thought it was kind of a doozy. They say this is the other side of If I Stay. I forgot the title. They don't really mention the female character as much as it is in If I Stay. Okay. The male character is very whiny, and this is kind of like his side of the story. His band and everything, he talks about the music and all that stuff. And when it's good, it's good. He's with her in certain scenes and it's good. And then after that, it just falls apart again. I really didn't care for this book, but it's not my kind of book. It's a contemporary, and it was a fast read, and I suggested that I pick it up, and I did. So I just wanted to try it. Like anything else, you want to try it in life? Yeah. Where She Went by Gail Foreman. I give this book a 3 out of 5 stars. So yeah, it's not that good for me, but you can read it if you want. So that's my view. And the last book that I read, I actually wanted to read 2 more books, but I ran out of time for the 7 and 7 readathon. So and I didn't participate in the booktubeathon because it was in the time that I was supposed to go back to work, so I couldn't do it. So I participated in the 7 and 7 readathon. So yeah, let's get to this book. You've already seen this in one of my videos. I haven't hauled it yet, so that's coming in a later video. End of Days by Susan E. Okay, something's wrong with this book. It could have been better, but I feel that Susan could have ended it a lot sooner. It has a lot of pages, and I kind of felt that it could have been as short as Angel Fall or World After. So I don't know if you can see up there, but a lot of the books I still have to haul are up there. Yeah, this book wasn't as good as I thought. This was kind of like the book I just showed you, Where She Went. When it's good, and when it falls apart, it falls apart. So we don't see much of Rafi until probably that much in, like that, or maybe that, I don't know, about the middle or so. And we don't see much of him because it's more of Penryn saying, okay, this is where I am, this is what's happening, and yeah, that's it. Then Rafi comes in all of a sudden and we're like, what is going on here? Yeah. I only managed to read not that many pages of it. I was on vacation during the time that I was reading it, and I ended every day at midnight, so yeah. Not a good conclusion to this whole series, and I liked it, but I felt it just could have been done faster and a lot of parts could be cut out. I'm not going to spoil it, so for the readers who haven't read it yet, but End of Days I give a 4 out of 5 stars. I tried it, I wanted to read it, I was excited, and I heard that it was supposed to be 5 books, I think, and that's not what I saw. I don't know. Anyway, I was in Laughlin when I was reading this portion of it, like about right there, and I had this much more when I got home. I had never been to Laughlin, and that's where I went for my second little vacation, and I'll be talking about that in a later video because I actually went on 2 vacations. Alright, here's the first book. This is Corey Taylor's 7 Deadly Sins, and this comes out to 252 pages. Tommyland, 269 pages. Where She Went, 266 pages. End of Days, 331. I only read 43 at the time, and that's kind of where I finished it during this read-a-thon. So, with all these books together, I read a total of 830 pages. Yeah. I failed, and I failed miserably, and I did better last time. I remember last time I read 1,000 and some pages. I think it was because I went on vacation and didn't have time to read, but sorry. If I would have read what I would have read, adding the 331 pages of End of Days, I would have had a grand total of 1,161 pages. And that's it. So, I wanted to read 2 other books that were in my Kindle, because I have been reading Kindle books faster than regular books. And I don't know why. It's just you get more hooked into it. I don't know. It's just a faster read, whatever. I read, or I wanted to read one of the books in there called Peter. It was based on Peter Pan, or a retelling of Peter Pan. So that one was Peter, and then the other book was A Tale of Two Cities that I wanted to read, and I didn't get to that one, so yeah. I failed. My upcoming video, the next video you'll see is the art video number 3. Finally, number 3. 003. So that will be the next video, and then I'll go on from there. I got a bunch of hauls that I want to do. I got books, I got CDs, I got DVDs, and other things I want to talk about. I will make a vacation video. I'm kind of behind, guys. I'm sorry. I also got another t-shirt video that I will be doing, and it's a special one, so stay tuned for that, and I will see you in the next one, guys. See you later. Bye.